Well, that didn't work right. There. Yeah, that's better. If I turn it around. I was showing this to everybody at church, even some visitors tonight too, and they enjoyed it. And one visitor, I didn't get a chance to show him anything, but they mentioned I do magic tricks. That's Magic Bill. Oh, hi, Magic Bill. I said, hi. I said, here's my YouTube channel. It has everything, including the kitchen sink. He said, oh, okay. From church activities to magic tricks to Rubik's cubes. Well, you get the idea. His name is Tyrone, Typhon. I'm not sure, but anyway, he's a cool guy. Roy talked to him about the children's church and stuff like that. John Hagberg told me hi, and Michael Phillips, and Josh Wager said, hey Bill. Oh, hi Josh. I said, hey Garrett. And then also Edward Reason, well not Edward Reason, but Christian's son, Garrett Astor and Christian's son were doing the microphones to hand everybody for testimonies. Anyway, they were in the foyer area by the men's bathroom. I said, Garrett, watch. Stephen Brundis did this on Penn and Teller Fullers and America's Got Talent. When Ryland Petty did it on British Got Talent. And he'll probably do it on America's Got Talent. I know he's on there doing things too. Anyway, but I said real fast. I don't know if they understood what I was trying to say. But anyway, I went like this. I had it all like this. And I said, see, it's all mixed up. And I go like this. And they're like, huh? And then I said, here's another pattern. And I showed all mixed. And I didn't get the chance to show them this one. But here's another one. And I said, but if I'm solving it normally, my best time is 1 minute and 12 seconds. And Mike Rock watched me solve it with one hand, and he said, oh, I see, you've learned how to solve Rubik's Cube with one hand. I said, yep. Brother Earl, James Earl, sat next to me. Said, Bill, you mind if I sit by you? I go, I don't mind, no problem. He actually dropped some kind of program, and reached to get it for him. He said, thanks, Bill. I said, you're welcome. He's the Candyman ventriloquist pastor. He started the black churches around the world. He had a ventriloquist dummy named Seth. He planted black churches around the world. He's got a movie out that our church first aired it. Had good news when Pastor Coles was pastor. Now Pastor Astor is pastor now. Pastor Astor likes to talk to Brother Rose, and so does Pastor Coles. Okay, it's good that Pastor Coles and Jan Coles did their testimony too. And I'm sitting there talking, I'm not paying attention what I'm doing. I think I done mixed this up, and I don't know where. Oh, okay, I see where it's at. You go like that. I showed the Ryan and Mrs. Fault's son that is in a cast, a metal cast, and I could do it with one hand. And then Mrs. Fault said, "You can solve the Rubik's Cube?" I said, "Yeah, my best time is 1 minute and 12 seconds." She go, "Wow, that's good." That's good that Mike Rock did his testimony too. He was talking about how his wife Marty, had operation health issues. After the operation, took a while to heal, so he was out for a while, and now he's back and good news. And I'm sure he watched the live stream when he couldn't be there. Before his wife's operation, he was our Sunday school class, and like that other testimony he did a long time ago, he would have never thought that he'd be in a situation where he wouldn't be in church. In other words, he likes being in church no matter what. If it's cold, snow, winter, rain, he's going to be in church. That's what Pastor Mike Ward Palmer's motto. If it's snowing, rain, thundering, hurricane, be at church. Because that's God's house. And it came in handy because Mark Taylor, when we had that hurricane, and God was telling him to go into the church building of Good News. And sure enough, when he came back, there was a tree that fell right through the roof, and it would have landed right where Paul Taylor sleeps on that couch. So his oldest son could have been killed. God's in control. It's like that guy named Tyrone, whatever. He mentioned that he's glad he's saved because he knows God is real, because he just survived a tremendous car wreck that flipped over, I think, 3 or 4 times, and he hit a tree. He woke up in the hospital, and he's here today to tell his story that God is real. He's alive. There's a lot of people are doing the Stephen Brundage routine also. But the thing is, they make up their own pattern to do the same thing. But I'm not sure, but the way they talk, they act like that's exactly how Stephen Brundage does it. And they cut to the scene. But since I got the video, I can see that their pattern doesn't match up with the pattern I know. And it's like I gotta tell them secretly somewhere through email or something, if they got an email or an instant messenger somewhere, to let them know you got the right idea, but that's not the pattern. Because everybody's commenting and saying, wow, thanks, now I know how to do the Stephen Brundage tricks. And I'm thinking, no, you only know the pattern that that guy is showing you. That's what I'm thinking. I read that. It's not the Stephen Brundage version of it. I mean, that version will work, but that's not the same pattern. The other guy came up with a different pattern to do the same thing. It's like Houdini had more than one way to get out of a wooden packing box. But the audience, they thought he got out the same method. There's many ways to do levitations. Some with wires, some without the wires, some with clear plate glass coming up through the floor. I mean, some using an anti-gravity thing. This one guy proved you could do it. He made a very powerful magnet to levitate a pin in midair or something like that. And inside the disc, that's very strong negative and positive magnetic field to do a levitation in midair. And this one guy found a way to do the same concept to levitate a frog in midair and plastic toys in midair. And he said in order to levitate your grandmother, you'd have to have a bigger magnet. Anyway. I don't know if you can see all that. Pastor Esther was assistant pastor, then he became full pastor. And Pastor Coles is retired, but he's still preaching when he can, and in other churches when he's not at Good News. And at Vacation Bible School, he has another godly talent, video recording and dubbing and burning onto a DVD disc and then presenting it on highlights of what you see on the church screen. He's really good at it. Nathaniel Brown's good at with the video camera too, and he's good with the computer. Jimmy Pierce is too. The patterns that these other people do, there's so many moves I can't even remember it. But the one thing that they do have right is the millisecond solve, because when you do the thing, it comes out exactly like Stephen Brundage, except the video that I have, he does that same instant millisecond solve, but the pattern, it really looks mixed before he does it. But his new method, it looks like checkerboard, and he still does it and it's instantly solved, the millisecond solved. And since he showed that version, the checkerboard one, to instantly solve when he drops it, everybody has figured out that pattern and can put it and do it. And I did that pattern, I was like, yep, that's it. But I ain't got it memorized yet, but I got all the other patterns memorized. But it's good that the other people have found other ways to do the Stephen Brundage in the bag and all that stuff. But what they don't understand is, they say, no offense to the guy, he says, he commented on his own video, he said, some people said that he has 2 cubes. As you can see, he has only 1 cube to do the trick with one hand. And then he shows with one hand he can do it. But the thing is, his pattern is not the pattern that I know. That's from the video of the Stephen Brundage Cube 3 thing. I could use this is a regular Rubik's Cube. I'm trying to keep the one that Stephen Brundage gives you, Cube 3, you know, in the container to keep it from being messed up. But it's just a regular cube. It's a speeding cube, just like on a Rubik's Cube is now a speed cube. Anyway, although every once in a while you might see me use the bright color, banana color flavored and lime colored flavor Stephen Brundage cube, but mainly I just use regular speed cube during the Rubik's cubes. Anyway, or that new other kind that doesn't look like a Rubik's cube. It's some other kind that you can adjust it to make it loose or tight. Anyway, now I was rambling on. I thought I was doing something about the bag cube. But what the guy says, no offense, I mean, he has that part right, but there is an episode where he shows that he has 2 Rubik's cubes coming out of the brown bag. But actually, there's three cubes. The one that's in the bag is Simon's, the Simon Cow's. The one that he pulls out is pre-pattern mixed. And then Stephen Brundage can take the solid cube that he has and mix it to that very same pattern, so that he can show all sides of the cube the pattern that matches it. All 6 sides. But now you can buy all these expensive kind now. That's a very, very expensive, $100 and some Venom Cube, the 360 Cube, and other things to do the same thing. But I like Stephen Brundage because it doesn't cost that much, and it's pure sleight of hand. Well, the others, the cubes are automatic. It does it itself. It's hard to explain what I'm trying to say. I mean, you might have to give it a help a little bit, but still, you know, looks like magic orthodox, he says on his video. I think it's Venom Cube he mentions. He says that the human eye can't catch the trap doors. And Greg Pitty mentioned something similar about it. And then there's another cube where they said, well, they show it at the lecture place, and there's a video where he shows it. So, hey, Ryan, and just show our audience what everybody has seen. And they pull the cube, and it goes inside each other, where it looks mixed, and then pull it out again, and the whole thing looks solid. I don't know if you can do this number with it or not, but they do say that any kind of rigged cube that costs a lot, the audience can't inspect it. So in my thought, I'd do a switch out. And someone posted on the comments saying the same thing. I said, great minds think alike. And Greg Pitty thought the same thing. I'm sure Riley and Pitty has thought of the same thing. That you do a switch out for the gap cube to a real cube to be examined. And I would use Patrick Page's top it, as Michael Ammer calls it, a poacher's pocket. See, I'm sitting there talking again. I don't know where. I gotta figure where I'm at on here. Oh, okay. Sometimes they're supposed to have either 2 or 3 supermoons, and then one of the moons is going to be blue color, a blue moon, bluish color. At least that's what they say. So I can go like this. Checkerboard. Shows checkerboard. Go like this. And say I can do checkerboard again. I'll show you I can do it with one hand. See? One hand. Checkerboard. I ain't practiced all the others though, but with practice I probably could do the whole thing with one hand. But Mike Rock said, oh, so you can solve the Rubik's Cube with one hand. Yeah, in other words, the patterns. For example, go like this. Show it mixed. Put it behind my back. It comes out solved. And Robert Campbell, church member, said, Bill, I see you still got the magic power. Magic power? Okay. Yeah, magic power. Basically what he's saying is, I still have the magic touch. Because I started at age 5 doing magic tricks. And then age 11 I got saved in Christ at a vacation Bible school. And hearing the Plan of Salvation message. Anyway, I let the whole world know through live stream in our church when we were doing testimonies. Same bad time, same bad channel. My left hand ain't quite practiced it. I can do that pretty good with my left. It'll take practice to do. A right-handed, you do real good. If you're left-handed, then you'll be much better than your right. Now, if you can do both, you're a lefty and a righty. This one kid a long time ago in public school, he played football and he injured his arm. He had it in a cast, so he had to learn to write with his left hand. All you gotta do, folks, is practice this and go here. Oh yeah, here's this pattern, like that. And do the same here. Well, you get the idea. See, here's the toss-up or revolving solve, I guess you could call it. So it mixed up. See? And then this pattern. So it mixed. "20 moves away, 5, 4, 3, and show it solved." In this pattern, the illusion of solving one side color, and then show that the whole thing's done. And spin it, like Stephen Browning says. See, those patterns are way different than what some other people are doing. I mean, it's good that they found their own way, but in my mind, I think they figured that's exactly how Stephen Browning did it. But I look at what they're saying, and I know the real secret, even though their idea is feasible and it's working, it's just a different method. It's like Doug Henning's version of walking through a mirror. The gap is set in the opposite direction. Copperfield's gap isn't set up in the other direction, even though the illusion of walking through a plate glass mirror is the same principle of walking through it. It's just Copperfield saw the method and switched it around. But to the audience, it looks like it's the same one that Doug Henning did a long time ago. But the gap is way different. But Jim Steinmeier built it for Doug Henning's NBC special. I don't know if he made it for Doug's tour special either. Also, I don't know, or for Merlin, I don't know. But I remember for a special. And then he did it for Doug Henning did it for Johnny Carson talk show. And then Johnny Carson's a magician too, so he enjoyed it. Like Zenly Benny did the levitation, and Johnny was floored. And then, since one magician to another, Zenly Benny, behind the scenes, showed Johnny Carson how it worked. It's like David Bland, Zandy Bladney, his levitation, his mentor that he looked up to, he showed him. out in the parking lot with a street light. And he was really impressed. And then when the Copperfield called up to use it, it took a while, but eventually, once he was done with it, he said, "Okay, David." When Dave called up either the third time or fourth time, he said, "Okay, Dave, I've done what you did it enough. You can use it." And then Copperfield used it for the Great Wall of China special, and also for the Civic Center. I seen a paper of him levitating a lady on a board. It was probably Joni Spinia, Christian lady, illusionist choreographer that he saw on a cruise ship. Saw her talent, decided to ask her to join, and she joined the Copperfield and his crew. And she loves animals also. Anyway, she branched out on her own and gave other men and lady tips on ideas on how to do a routine performance. It was either in the Genie magazine or Magic magazine, one of my, she gave information on it. And she's also on YouTube. Even though she's passed away, she has her own YouTube channel. It's just floating around. She's probably got a Facebook too. Charlotte Pendragon is alive, and she's got hers on Facebook. I think she has a YouTube. I don't know. Jonathan Pendragon has a YouTube. I know that. Jonathan Pendragon, Mastro the Magnificent. He likes me calling him a professor. I didn't notice it was called a professor. I just call him Master the Magnificent because he's really great at what he has. He has God-given talent. And I let Jonathan know on Facebook that I'm the one that called him Master the Magnificent, and he liked my comment. He helped me out a lot. So did Mitch Larry, Herb Newman, Miss Teeny, I Can Hear You Thinking, Bob Schofield, Fred Stahl of Fred and Flo, Tent Ministries. Now Fred's in heaven, and now it's the Henry's Tent Ministry. They're part of the Flo and Fred family, taking over the tent ministry for the Lord. Anyway, one of the Henry's son is passed the test for a fire to become a fireman. That's good. It's good that Flo comes up when she can, and the Henrys show up. Tent Hope Ministry show up when it's about time to do Vacation Bible School, so everybody gets some nice shade and not get a sunburn in the heat. And if it rains, they can be protected from the rain. But everybody was praying for a nice day, and this lady was praying that one of the workers, and God answered her prayer. It was a nice day all this week, so that way they didn't have to go into the rain, and that way parents will let all the kids come, over 200 kids, and a lot of professions of faith. So far, there's 20 kids that got saved, and a parent raised their hand to get saved. I think that's cool. I can tell that this wasn't folded in the right direction, or I wouldn't have all the time. I'm going to have to, I know how to do this, folks. Somehow it was put in wrong. I probably did it wrong, put it in wrong myself. try this again. I know I'm much better than this. Where's my... Oh, no. Oh, it's way over there. Hold on, Pope. Ouch. Okay, let me check my jacket. It's not in there. It's in here. Well, what did I do with it? I couldn't have lost those pins. What did, oh, never mind. I know where I put it. Oh, it's got the tail lights on. Wait, okay. I found it. Scared to tell it. Turn around, there's Tommy looking right at me, still with a rock. Anyway, let's just try this again. Well, let me put it right here. Go like this. It's kind of hard to do this at this angle. Yikes. I guess that's a good angle. I can't tell. I'm trying to do this trick and I can't do it right. And I usually show all angles of the coin. It's kind of hard to do it sitting down to explain what I want to do. And before I got this trick, my idea was way different than what this method is, but my idea would work. Then later on, someone invented another way to do it, but the audience will think it's all done the same way. My idea was, when I saw Copper did it for the Great Wall of China, is that the round circle part of the hole goes down spring-loaded, and then you're able to put the round chopstick in there, and then it closes up and locks in, and then you'd have to have something to unlock it secretly, and they could examine it, or maybe do a switch out with another coin, something like that. But when I got it, it was completely different than what I thought, and the new method that they do is completely different than the one I have, but my idea would work also. Well, you get the idea. the mask guy that reveals secrets, just like the masked magician, he actually has got the Saidini version like Copperfield, like I do. There are some people that actually do it right like I do. See, on some YouTube how tutorials, they go like this, and they lay it into the middle finger, and then hide it and go like that. And I'm thinking, well, that's alright, but Copperfield don't do no hiding at all. He goes just like this. He goes, Roop. David said, cuck, and goes like this. Right in front of him. He doesn't hide or anything. I watched his hand, nothing was going on. But I watched his hand, his finger went like that. So I went like this. See how it goes like this and it stays in the middle? And it comes around and let go? That's how he did it. If he didn't, then I came across my own idea. But it looks like great minds think alike. There's another guy, and that mask magician guy that reveals secrets also has thought of the same thing. Great minds think alike. I was beginning to think that my version was the only way to do it. See, here's the one even Copperfield teaches. You pull down and lift up. You pull down and lift up. And my nephew William, when I showed him that, he said, well, what if you did this? And you tried to do this? I said, hey, that's cool. You come up with your own idea. And I said, you're like the Rocks kids. Kenny and Diane's Rocks kids, Joseph and Jonathan and Josh the Rock. I showed them that trick, and they found many different ways to do rubber band tricks. And now we have YouTube, and everybody does rubber band tricks. So much ideas, it'll blow your mind, so to speak. It's mind-blowing. I mean, here's one that I got out of Mark Woodson Course of Magic video. And this is one that Copperfield does on an interview of a guy interviewing him, either in the 70s or 80s or something like that, or maybe it's in the 90s, I don't know. He goes like this. Although Copperfield does it like a little flare. He said, do that again. Here's another one. That's blue, that's yellow. No, actually that's blue and that's yellow. And see, every time I do it, I lose rubber band. David Bassinet's relative or cousin, Jacob Bassinet, he cut on real quick after church service. He showed me he could do those very same rubber band tricks. I said, you catch on, you're a quick learner. My nephew Eugene, my niece Tony, they learned how to do the crazy man handcuff. I need to teach PJ Parker some rubber band tricks. And any other trick if it's easy for him. hand. Oh, here it is. Notice this is slightly different than this, and this is slightly different than this. This is slightly different, that's slightly different. Now I mean, this is slightly different, this is slightly different, and this is slightly different. Even if they're all different, they're all the same. I don't know why they call it the old Jack of Club trick, because really it's the old Joker trick. Mr. Taylor, Mark Taylor, said, "You're getting really good at that, Bill." I said, "Thanks." I think we used to come up with an idea. Everyone else has their own version of 3 Monte. I thought of a color Monte.